Hello, my name is Laura Chung. I am the author of How to Manifest on we are on 24 of the 40-day journey. Today is February 13th, 2023. Thank you so much for being here. And today the moon is in Scorpio. So yesterday and today you might have felt pretty deep emotions, some deep stuff. And from the Mercury and Pluto conjunction, we are starting to see things being disclosed, being revealed, and might have taken this weekend to start understanding what it is that's deep within your unconscious mind and the things that have been hidden by Pluto in order for you to integrate it. This is a big week, actually, because we're going to have two outer planet conjunctions. The first one is the Sun meeting Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. And this is the last kind of bit before Saturn moves into Pisces on March 7th. And then Venus will conjoin Neptune the day after Valentine's Day, so around Wednesday. This is a very beautiful aspect in the sky, whereas normally during Valentine's Day, it's during a fixed air sign of Aquarius, which is cold. So I don't know what capitalistic bullshit Valentine's Day is, but they should have probably consulted an astrologer. But this year, we have a Venus and Neptune conjunction, which is all about unconditional love and sacred love. So it's going to be very beautiful. And then on February 18th, we're going to enter Pisces season. And then on the 19th, I'm in New York, on the East Coast of the United States. So this might vary based on where you are in the world. We have a new moon in Pisces. So we're really shifting energies starting this week. And we are going to have a new moon, a new beginning. So we are on week 4, and we are currently in the energetic shift. And today is day 24, the universal laws. But before I get into it, I wanted to pull a tarot card to see the energy for today. And yeah, really, really excited about this week and what these energies have to offer. I can't believe Saturn is finally moving out of a Saturn ruled sign. Saturn has been in a Saturn ruled sign since 2017. So the last 6 years have been all about facing our fears. It's about endings and about coming face to face with karma. And by karma, I just mean the law of cause and effect. And I don't know, as you can see, we're moving into Pluto and Aquarius in March and finishing up this Saturn and Aquarius story. And we're seeing some unidentifiable objects in the sky and things being disclosed. So we shall see what the next 20 years have to share with us. Okay, so what is the main energy for today, Spirit? What do you want us to know? Ooh, okay, so 3 cards came out. I will take it. Okay, so the first one, we have the Princess of Swords. This is about new perspectives, new clarity. It's being clear about what it is that you want. This might also be somebody coming into your life with a message, with like an insight, like an aha moment. Then we have the Four of Swords, which is Jupiter in Libra. It's all about meditation. It's about resting. It's about resting your mind, being at peace. I really love that for us. And then we have the Princess of Cups, another page. So in like the traditional tarot, the princesses are pages. Princess of Cups. This is a new beginning, new love, new emotional offer, a new, and the court cards usually describe people that come into your life. So with this Neptune and Venus conjunction in Pisces, and Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces, and Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. So just look at where you have your Pisces house and see where these beautiful messages, these beautiful offerings can happen for you. Because also with the two swords cards coming out with the cup card, the cups talk about emotions and feelings and how we feel about things, and literally the two conjunctions I was talking to you about, the sun meeting Saturn in the sky, that's bringing consciousness and awareness into what we've been working on during our Saturn story. And then with the Venus Neptune conjunction, it's this new beginning, this new conjunctions speak about new beginnings, because when we have a sun and moon conjunction, that's a new moon. So it's a beginning of a new cycle. And I think really what we're being asked to do is to get into meditation, get into being grounded in our bodies, and allowing the messages to come through. This is Jupiter in Libra. This is like expansion of the mind in ways that maybe you hadn't thought about before. And Aquarius is that kind of energy. It's about thinking outside the box. It's thinking outside the periphery of our current perspective. And just as I was pulling the cards, I was talking about unidentifiable objects and like, what does that mean for humanity? What does that mean for our consciousness? So again, like a 20-year cycle with Pluto being in Aquarius, 2024 to 2044, that's a long time. A lot can change during that time. And by the time Pluto leaves Aquarius, I will be 60, like in my 60s. Like, I can't believe that. Like, what? Time is such an interesting thing. And Saturn is, the mythology of Kronos, which is in Greek mythology, and Saturn is the Lord of time. And so just think about that. Like, what have you been going through these last 2 years with Saturn and Aquarius? What has been calling for you to release, let go? Could be community-wise, right? Because Aquarius talks about community and the collective friendships. And when Saturn was in Capricorn, it was about your structures, the way you think about your life, the forms. Capricorn's about forms. And there was a lot of burning away. I mean, there's a lot of letting go and releasing. And collectively, I think, because the United States, every country has a natal chart. And the United States moon is in Aquarius. And so Saturn being on the United States moon, it's like collectively we're all facing our fears. So moving on to today, which is day 24, the universal laws. I did another like separate video on my YouTube channel and my podcast just about the universal laws. So I will link that down below so you could watch that, because I'm not going to spend an hour and a half going through all 12 of them, but it really does go in depth. I'm just gonna like mention them here in this book. And why do I mention the universal laws? Because we're all familiar with the law of attraction, like attracts like, but there are other universal laws that play into our ability to manifest, and they are all energetic, and they inform us of maybe there are blocks. Maybe we don't know how to employ the universal laws. Maybe we don't understand them. And in spirituality, these laws are like the law of karma, like I just said, which is the law of cause and effect. In physics, it's the law of, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So every system, whether it be science or spirituality or whatever it is, physics, they're basically saying the same thing, the energetic laws and how this universe works. And it's very important to understand these in manifestation. So that's why I, introduced them in its own day. And so this day is actually pretty long because there's, 12 of them, but I will try to be as straightforward as I can. And if you wish to go for deeper, you can watch the video that I dedicated to the universal laws. Okay. So, the 12 universal laws are thought to be intrinsic, unchanging laws of our universe that ancient cultures have always intuitively known. We can understand the universal laws through Einstein's theory of relativity, which shows us that atomic energy vibrates at different rates. His equation E equals mc squared proved that energy and matter are the same, that everything in the universe vibrates at different frequencies. Okay, so then the first law is the law of divine oneness. The law of divine oneness is the foundational law according to which absolutely everything in our universe is interconnected. In other words, every choice, word, desire, and belief you have will also have an impact on the world and on other people. So that's why, like, there was this whole sober curious movement going on a few years ago. I don't know if you remember this, but people becoming sober and not needing to drink as much, and how that affects collectively is like when one person does it, it affects because energy, right? We're all energetic. It affects the consciousness of other people. So then you saw different groups and different meetups and um, people coming together to do activities around being sober and not having to drink. And because there were more and more people on the same bandwagon and created a demand, now there's non-alcoholic drinks. Now there's bars dedicated to non-alcoholic beverages. And so what I've seen in the last and I think that was actually when Saturn moved into Capricorn, people getting sober, and Saturn is a very sobering sign. Since then, now I go to non-alcoholic parties. Now there's like non-alcoholic drink options. So it's like when you understand that you are a particle of the greater collective, and just by focusing on your own healing journey and your own manifestation or co-creation, that does affect the collective. It's very like Leo, Aquarius axes. Yogis, philosophers, astrologers, healers, poets, and artists have channeled through them in the idea of oneness. In science, we learned the Big Bang Theory, that this universe started from one big explosion that created everything. As Carl Sagan said, we are made of star stuff. Yoga means union or connection. In Sanskrit, the word yoga is used to signify any form of connection. Yoga is both a state of connection and a body of techniques that allow us to connect to anything and everything. My favorite Sufi poet, Rumi, expressed this idea through this quote: "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. The law of divine oneness is known as the concept of Tao." So how beautiful is that, right? That is such I'm actually bookmarking it because it's such a Venus and Neptune conjunction kind of feeling. Number 2, the law of vibration. The principle of vibration is one of the hermetic laws of nature. Nothing rests. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. The law of vibration states that anything that exists in our universe, whether seen or unseen, can be broken down into and analyzed in its purest and most basic form, which consists of pure energy or light. This material resonates and exists as a vibratory frequency or pattern. All matter, thoughts, and feelings have their own vibrational frequencies. Everything is energy, remember. Your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions create your vibration. When you change your vibration, everything changes. So even though you see me as physical matter, it's because all of my vibration is moving at such a slow speed that you see me as a physical reality. Whereas my words have a higher frequency, and so they travel faster. Sound travels faster. Light travels faster. Thoughts travel faster because the vibration is higher. Remember what I said yesterday, just because something is higher does not mean it's better. Just because something's lower doesn't mean it's worse. It's just the frequency. Okay, so something that really helps me to understand the phenomenon of vibration is the tuning fork. I'll describe it to you, but please go and watch YouTube. 2 tuning forks are calibrated to the same frequency. If you strike one of them, it begins to vibrate at a specific resonance. The second fork will vibrate even as it remains untouched. The vibration from the struck tuning fork is transferred to the untouched tuning fork because they are tuned to the same frequency. They are in harmony with vibrations even without physical contact. It's actually really cool to watch. Okay, so number 3, the law of correspondence. Patterns repeat through the universe, and these patterns can also be found repeating on a very small scale. For example, think of the popular example of the spiral pattern that appears in a huge number of places. In the galaxy, the Fibonacci sequence, this applies in a figurative sense to look. Look for patterns in your own life, in your thoughts, and notice how they repeat elsewhere in the world. As you do, consider the kinds of pattern changes that you might be able to make and how those will create changes on a larger scale. In other words, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Energy moves in a spiral motion like the galaxy, a DNA helix. The spirals in a caduceus symbol, 2 snakes winding around a winged staff, which is Mercury symbol. Tornadoes, a nautilus shell, fingerprints, everything corresponds to one another on an energetic level. Okay, number 4, which is everyone's familiar with the law of attraction. It tells us that like attracts like, right? So what you want, like money, like attracts like, but it like attracts like through the law of vibration, number 2. So if I want to attract a specific job, I have to resonate at that same frequency. Okay. But the one caveat I do have to say about this is when we only place the focus on the law of attraction, like I said, that's the one that we were taught. That's the one that like most people know about. Then it seems like when you don't manifest it, that it's all your fault, right? Like the onus is placed on the individual, whereas I think that that's unfair because there's a lot of things that prevent people from not being able to like believe in their core beliefs, like the oppression of BIPOC, the oppression of women and trans and non-binary people. Like there is all obviously caveats to all of this because it's not just the onus on the individual, but also like the collective institutions that make us feel oppressed, right? So just take that into account. Then number 5, the law of inspired action. And this is kind of self-explanatory. Like we are physical beings, so we manifest through action, through our decisions. So in reality, you can change your reality, but you need to do something different. And that saying is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Number 6, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. We all have the power within us to change the conditions of our lives. Higher vibrations consume and transform lower ones. In other words, each of us can change the energies in our lives by understanding the universal laws and applying the principles to affect change. So if you understand how to transmute energies, and we did this on the full moon in Leo, so day 15, we, was it day 15 or day 14? But we did an exercise where we like, focused on the thing that we were fearful of, the thing that we felt the resistance to. So resistance just means worry, fear, impatience, and doubt. And we actually sat with that and just like imagine that they were being released and transmuted so that our body felt safe. And I do this trick where I snap my fingers and I say to my body, we're transmuting this, we're alchemizing this fear. And I imagine that fear and I imagine that doubt. I imagine all those resistant feelings being like showered with glitter and showered with like beautiful healing energy and it being alchemized and then infusing back into my body as power, as confidence. So do whatever it takes for you to get into that state where you're, you feel the grief, you feel the doubt, you feel all the negative emotions that we as humans just, we're meant to feel, but you allow them to move through you like a wave. So number 7 is the law of cause and effect. which, like I said, is the law of karma. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, which is Newton's third law of motion. So basically, everything that you do, every decision you make, there is going to be an equal and opposite reaction. Sometimes it takes longer. So that's why on day one, when we set those intentions on the new moon in Aquarius, that is a cause, right? We put it out there. And then taking those daily action steps, the effect, the reaction is what we receive back. Um, and energy is not good or bad. Energy is not positive or negative. It just works like this way where if you do something that's bad or negative towards somebody else, it's going to come back to you. So just be mindful also of having more awareness on how you could also be placing harm on others, because in our quest to be more aware, right? We unknowingly sometimes cause harm to others, and it just really takes awareness and responsibility and just saying sorry and being really, really sorry and asking for forgiveness. But sometimes when we manifest things or we do things, we're unconscious to the ways in which we cause harm to others. Manifest destiny, for example, is one example I use with my students. Sorry, I just had to clean the camera. Like manifest destiny is Lewis and Clark, how they believed it was their God-given birthright to expand in to the West, right? That's what they believed was right. They knowingly or unknowingly, I would say knowingly, but maybe some people think unknowingly, cause a lot of harm, cause genocide to indigenous people. Manifest destiny is like the worst case scenario of manifestation, right? When you colonize, when you take, when you steal. And so that cause has an effect now. And I personally believe we are just right now reconciling with a lot of the effects of what the founding fathers and our forefathers have done in the past. And now it's just for all of us to reconcile with that. And when you know better, you do better. I think Maya Angelou said that. Okay, so then number 8, the law of compensation is similar to like the law of cause and effect. You will receive what you put out. So whatever we do, think, or feel will create a level of compensation equal to the deed we perform. The law of compensation is important because you get what you give. So if you are like calling in love, you have to give love. You have to give to receive. And unfortunately, we weren't taught this in American society, American culture. American culture is rooted in taking and stealing and not reciprocating, not giving back to the land. It's not like even admitting what it did in the past, which is again what I was saying. It's like reconciling all of that history. So, like, what do you expect if you keep taking? Like, what do you expect if you just keep extracting and stealing? I'm just going to keep it there. Number 9, the law of relativity. The law of relativity is all about the neutrality of things when it's seen in isolation. So, put simply, in the words of Dr. Wayne Dyer, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If someone says something negative about us, we have the choice to activate it in our minds. We can either accept it as reality or reject it. To practice this law, remember that your entire experience of the world is colored by your beliefs. Everyone acts according to their own experiences and beliefs, which means that you cannot judge another's action because you can never have a full understanding of their history and motivations. All right, so the law of polarity, number 10. It's the most important thing to remember that absolutely everything has an opposite, and that it is the very existence of these opposites that allow us to understand our lives. And we live in a very polarized reality right now, right and left, good and bad. It's literally embedded and baked into our political system. Fears and dreams, love and hate, light and dark, north and south, feminine, masculine, yin and yang. The law of polarity gives us a powerful tool to change our mindsets. When we understand there's a positive to every negative, we can choose to focus on the positive. And what do they say? Like when two extreme ends become so extreme, they became the same thing. It's like when you're extreme left or extreme right, it's the same energy. And you have to integrate both opposing energies to create wholeness. So we experience polarity in our outer realm because we have not integrated that within our own self to create wholeness. So we experience separation because we ourselves feel separated within ourselves. And remember from the first law, which was the law of oneness. Okay, we just have to remind ourselves that we are part of the whole constantly because we're human and we forget sometimes. Okay, number 11, the law of rhythm. And this really speaks to day 12 when we talked about rewilding, that everything has natural cycles. That when you're in an ebb, when you're in an ebb and things are like shrinking, or maybe you're going through a hard time financially, that ultimately you will be in a flow. It's like the Wheel of Fortune card in tarot. And the Wheel of Fortune doesn't just mean like good luck, because the wheel is ever turning. When you're at the top, you're going to fall to the bottom. When you're at the bottom, you fall to the top. It's like the ever rhythm of life, of like the cycle of rebalancing, right? So just remember that. And then number 12, the law of sexual energies. And this is little to do with our biological sex, but rather two types of energies that are within us: the feminine and masculine, yin and yang, the solar and lunar. And our English language is so limited in this kind of like expression of feminine and masculine because we associate that to gender. But divine feminine is space, darkness, chaos, softness, passivity, potential, energy, infinity. It's like the isness, it's the being. Whereas the divine masculine is structure, light, hard, order, kinetic energy, creativity, activity, youth, the new, the conscious mind. It's the doing, okay? And if I could dare say, our society is more in like the very hyper masculine of doing, of needing to do things, of structure, of needing to see things with your physical eyes, whereas the feminine is like you don't see it with your eyes, you just feel it, okay? And we're not used to that. It's very like left versus right brain. So I also offer a 13th law, the law of resonance, which is like you attract based on emotional response. It's worth considering that during this journey of manifestation, that we all have a specific resonance that we were born with, and everything has a resonance. So your job is to understand your own energy and what you resonate at and the frequency, so that when you and it's just being honest. This has nothing to do with being judgmental either. Like if you feel shitty, if you feel afraid, there's a reason for that, and maybe you need to go back to week 3 because that emotion is tethered to something that needs to be released, right? So this is all about continually to be aware and going further and further and asking yourself, why do I feel this way? Where is this coming from? But when you know that, you can um like go into it and ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me, without judgment? Like, what is it trying to show me? Maybe I need to do more shadow work. Maybe I need to do more healing. Maybe I need to like just cry and like, feel it. So the go deep, the exercise for today is to, like exactly what I just said, meditate on all 12 of these, and just reflect on the ones that you employ and the ones that maybe you need to work on, and maybe start integrating some of those universal laws. So if you are not manifesting right now, or the thing that you're manifesting hasn't come into your life right now, just ask yourself, okay, If I believe in these universal laws and I believe in energy and it's not coming into my life right now, there's still a deep core belief that's not there. I'm not resonating on that frequency. And a lot of people will get triggered by this because, again, you'll feel like I'm doing something wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. This is an exercise about awareness. We just weren't taught these things. So now you're learning and now you're integrating these lessons. So you ask yourself, if I'm manifesting money, okay, and it's not in my physical reality, there's still a core belief of scarcity. There's still a core belief of lack. What is that? Where did it come from? Go back to week 3. Oh, it came from my ancestors. My ancestors like really struggle with money. My parents always said money is so hard to come by. Okay, cool, cool. Like that's the root cause, right? And how do you heal that? You start feeding your mind rich thoughts because wealth and abundance is a mentality first, okay, before you see it. So, what do rich people think? That money is energy, it's a constant, infinite resource. It's easy to make money. It's actually really it's joyful, okay? It's joyful. Money can give me the ability to help other people. Being rich is not a bad thing. It's not. When I'm rich, I make other people rich. And it's statistically proven that rich women, specifically women of color, women of the global majority, we feed back into our communities. We invest in other women of color. So the Go Deeper exercise is focus on one of the universal laws that you want to focus on and research, investigate, and start getting to work on it. Maybe it is the law of cause and effect. Maybe it is the law of resonance. Maybe the vibration thing really caught your eye. I'm not like the tuning fork example. Like if this is money and this is me, right? This I need to like tune my fork to resonate with money. Okay. So, how am I going to do that? Well, I have to feel rich. How am I going to feel rich? Again, rich is a mindset. I've met many, many people who were multi-millionaires who were not displaying rich behavior. They were super cheap and super frugal. So I knew working at my private equity job when I was like around millionaires that being rich and wealthy was a mindset. So that's something that you can like literally imagine your rich, wealthy hat cap on. What would a rich person think? Well, first of all, a rich person would not make poor people decisions. They would not be afraid of money. They would not be afraid to make decisions based on lack. They would make decisions based on what would make me more money and what would make more time and freedom for myself. And also, I would approach money as it's just a current. It comes and comes when I need it, and I'm always provided for. The universe always provides for me. So take it step by step so that your body actually like believes you, you know? So like I said, if you want to go deeper into this, I'll link the video down below. Tomorrow is day 25 scripting. But like I said, I'm traveling tomorrow. I'm going to Cartagena. So I won't be going live, but I will have that video up for you tomorrow. And like always, like this video, share, subscribe. All my links are down below if you want a one-on-one Reiki session with me or astrology reading. I look at your chart and how, like your purpose, how to manifest, and all those good things. So anyway, I hope you have a beautiful day and remember to take care of your mind and body. Bye.